COVID-19 is a global challenge that has to do with the problems that every facet of life is involved. Even ministers are also facing this challenge. Personally, there are several angles to the pandemic: the angle of finance, the angle of ministry, particularly in relation to the ministers. And it's affecting families. And these families will may also be calling upon the ministers of the gospel, asking them how do they go about feeding, how do they go about handling the family challenges. And that may add to the anxiety of the minister of the gospel too. But when we go back to the Bible, we realize that God promises that He will be with us. Regarding the pandemic itself, we have the assurance in Psalm 91 that no matter the circumstance, God will see us through because He will protect us. He will not allow any evil to come near us. But at the same time, we will reduce anxiety when we also obey necessary rules placed before us by our leadership in governance. We set example by obeying the rule of the land, the law of the land. We should set example. We should also make our family members to also be good examples by obeying the rule. Stay in your homes so that the anxiety will be reduced. Because when we are going out, there will be that fear. Could it be that I've been infected? And also we should encourage our members to know that even the fact that we are not holding maybe services in our churches as usual, as if heaven will fall. It is important for us to know that even by the time that we are not gathering together, we will be able to assess whether or not we are Christians. Because what we have been hearing, the sermon we have been hearing, it is now that we want to see it reflect in our lives, in our practice of faith. Today that many churches are not holding, Christians are not gathering together because of the pandemic, we must be able to put into practice the faith that we have already. Faith is not a matter of gathering together alone. Gathering together is to sustain, is to impart our lives so that in situations like this, faith will not work. It is essential for us to know that the faith that we have in our hearts, in our lives, should be put into practice now that the pandemic is ravaging. By the time that we demonstrate that in our lives, that we have faith in the same God whom we worship when we gather together, and who is everywhere, because God is omnipresent. He is everywhere. Wherever we see ourselves, we should call upon Him and trust in Him in order for Him to see us through this challenging period. And I believe that if we are able to do that, others will also glean from our own practical life to know that no matter how difficult the situation is, God is still alive to help us in our situation, and the calmness they see in us will also calm our members down. A minister of the gospel is not a minister only when we see our members physically. A minister of the gospel should be conscious of the whereabouts of their members in this situation. They should contact them through phone calls. Call them and ask, how are you faring? And if there are some things that the church can even do, like making arrangement for some palliative materials, getting them some food stuff, and making arrangement of where they will go and pick that. Church pastors should do that. It is very essential. Call them, encourage them. So there must be follow-up on the part of the ministers of the gospel, calling them, sending them text messages, using WhatsApp, sending them email, so that through that, the fact that we are not seen physically, God of the physical is this God of the spiritual, is in control of the atmosphere. And one of the ways is to use all this multimedia or other media, like either print media, either soft media, in which case we send text messages, send WhatsApp, send email to members, so that they'll be encouraged this time around. That will show that we are true pastors, even in difficult situations.